It's bought and paid for by corporations that are selling you food. It's bought and paid for by people who hire chemists to make the food more palatable and more addictive, so you buy more. Good morning, everybody. It's Aaron from the Kilby Life, bringing another Kilby Life video. Today, I'm going to be talking about my recent lab work on the carnivore diet. After 460 some days, I got my labs done again, where I'm at now. I guess we'll start at April 4th, 2022. I was on the carnivore diet for about a week at that point, and I was looking at some of my past results here. And that day, my estimated average glucose was 140. My hemoglobin A1C was 6.5. But if I go back, it was 6.2, 6.6, 6.0, and estimated. That was the day that my doctor was like, maybe we should consider taking medication for type 2 diabetes since you're type 2 diabetic. And I'm like, I am? I got those numbers and I'm like, I'm type 2 diabetic. And so I did a little bit of research on what does that mean? And then I looked through these numbers and I was like, but I've been diabetic, type 2 diabetic. Why haven't I been on medication this whole time? And it's just one of those, like, what got me started down this path, really. And you can see on the numbers, my next one's estimated 117, hemoglobin A1C 5.7. So I drastically changed that in 4 months. 4 months. It ticked up just slightly 3 months later, and 3 months later it went back down to exactly where it was the time before, in 5.7. So I thought that was interesting. I remember getting that 5.9 after that 5.7 and just being pretty distraught this morning. And I looked at my labs and I'm just like, I quit. A lot of people watched it. A lot of people who are whole foods plant-based. And I should have did a mean comments reaction video because it was pretty crazy. Also, on this one, again, I started on March 4th, 2022. Well, that was my first labs a weekend on the diet. Total cholesterol, 2018, 313, then 277, then 412. That's when my doctor started giving me a hard time. And then 442, 498, 508. I've been on a journey. My HDL cholesterol at 34, then 32, then 41, 1 weekend on the diet, 36, 45, 50. So I've had, besides that one slight downtick, which I don't know what that was, it has gone up. And that is a marker. HDL is a marker for lowered heart attack. Now LDL is what everyone gets all crazy about, says that's gonna give you heart attacks. I got plenty of videos on that. There's a lot of information, but you can see mine was at 217, 189, 329 when I started the diet. 1 week in, popped up within 1 week, 357. I guess I'll go back on that. The 329, the disclaimer, I was 1 week on the carnivore diet. That also meant I was 1 week off of carbohydrates. You can try to blame saturated fat all you want, but it was the lack of carbohydrates. 357, 427, then 438. Triglycerides, 310, 282, 208, 197, 131, 98. And you can see that is drastically came down. And my VLDL, which is, from what I hear, probably the best marker for heart health, went from 62, and you want it lower, 62, 56, 42, 39, 26, 20. So these are my newest labs, and it came back with a glucose of 107, which is high, still high. I did some calculations, and if I did a 107 as like my average, I would have a 5.4 A1C. The one thing that was weird was that my potassium was high. 5.2 is the top range, and I got a 5.3, so just like 1 point away. Or 1/10 of a point away. Math. Everything else seemed good. I've always, like, my sodium was lower on the range. If you knew how much salt I ate.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
But I looked down here on my total cholesterol, 467, which they say is high, and it was 508 last time. Triglycerides 95, which have got lower. Let me see, what was the last time? 98, so 95. My HDL cholesterol last time was 50, now it's 54, so it's ticking up. My VLDL last time was 20, and this time it is 14, so trending down. And my LDL is 399, down from a 438. So I look at these things, and this piece of paper says possible familial hypercholesterolemia, which I did get the genetic testing for that, and I do not have that. I'm a hyper responder, not necessarily lean mass, but if I don't have carbs, my cholesterol goes up, and it is not a LDL cholesterol. There's no research that says that is a marker for bad heart health. There's no good studies, I should say. I was doing some research. Let me see if I can pull up my calculator here. All right, I'm gonna go all the way back 1 year before I started the carnivore diet. So you take your triglycerides number. I got 282, and then you divide that by your HDL, which was 32, and that gives me an 8.8125 ratio. Triglyceride to HDL ratio, which I have heard is the biggest marker for heart disease. That's what was causing heart disease in my life. That was what gave me a CAC score of 122. Was that ratio right there, and I believe it was higher the time before that. It was like 9 something. And I heard that you want to have it around 2-ish, 2.5 max. So let's see where I am today. And this is the stuff that like gets me excited and happy, because my triglycerides are 95, and you divide them by HDL, 54, and you can already tell, just looking at those numbers, you can already tell 1.75, 925925925929. Okay, 1.75.
Yay!
The carnivore diet has literally changed my life and brought me health. But I have wrestled with this the whole time, because conventional wisdom is saying that I'm killing myself by having a high LDL cholesterol, but all my other markers for health are getting better. I'm not gonna take my shirt off, but I got abs now. My man boobs have gone away. And like, oh, Aaron, but you've been working out. Yeah, I have been working out. I've been working out hard because my diet has got better. My nutrition has got better. My life got better. How I think about myself got better. And all because of cutting out carbs and sugars and realizing that I was an addict. I was a carbaholic and an addict, and the standard American diet is not a healthy, sustainable, balanced diet. I don't care what anyone says. Even on like Mediterranean diet or vegan diets and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, you get rid of the processed foods and all that kind of stuff, and you'll be way better off. True, I believe that, but I believe, at least in my life, the carnivore diet gives you the most long-term benefits of nutrition, and you'll have less issues, gut issues and that kind of stuff, and lack of nutrition, trying to get enough food like on some of these other diets. So that was awesome. That's a great marker here. But my hemoglobin A1C came back at 5.7 again. And that's technically pre-diabetes, but I was watching a video this morning that says 5.7 is the highest that can be, that people don't worry about it. I'm okay with that. You know, this is me not eating carbs or sugar, so it's still staying at 5.7 for some reason. Stress, I'm still breathing, so I have stress. I'm not diabetic, I'm pre-diabetic, but I mean, there's a bend there. I have a bend and a tilt towards diabetes in my life, and so that's why I'm still on this diet. I'm still going on this diet because I found so many health benefits, and I also don't want to have my diabetes come back. And I could probably add some carbs in here and there and it not be a big deal, but I want to see where these numbers go. And I've committed to my second year on the carnivore diet. I'm thinking about 16 months in right now, 17, I don't know. Maybe I should put it on my calendar. Again, earlier I did the calculation because I believe this said that my glucose, when they tested it, was 107, which is considered high, but if that was my average, yeah, I'd be at 5.4, which I'm perfectly fine with. And yes, I know the A1C, the way that they test, that's not the average, but I also know that on a carnivore diet, when you're not exposing your body to as many sugars, spikes and dips and all that kind of stuff, and insulin, that your blood can live longer. So these numbers, this A1C that I have could be a perfect A1C. Just my blood's living longer, if that makes sense. One good thing about this is that there's more and more people trying a carnivore diet and getting on a carnivore diet and getting lab work and that kind of stuff. And so we're going to be getting, more information to go on when it comes to these things. Yeah, the only thing that I really thought was odd was my potassium was just a little bit high. But I have been making sure I get my electrolytes. I've been drinking Element, and I use Keto Chow also. Whenever a nice cold glass of milk sounds good, I use Keto Chow because it'll make my water taste like milk. To me, it's such a weird thing. Anyone that's watched my videos and has watched my journey from the beginning, I've been through some stuff. That I've wrestled back and forth if this is the right diet for me, right lifestyle. Is this the proper way for me to eat a proper human diet? I remember specifically when I realized that I was a carb addict and the marketing of food was mostly just carbs. There's nothing from Domino's that I can eat. And just getting mad and just realizing that a lot of the nutrition advice out there is just bad advice. It's bought and paid for by corporations that are selling you food. It's bought and paid for by people who hire chemists to make the food more palatable and more addictive, so you buy more. People out there that are making the food more addictive and palatable, so your kids scream and yell at you for it. And when they don't get it, they fight you because they're addicts. You don't realize how stuck you are until you get your freedom. Do I have to eat this way forever? Will I never eat a slice of pizza again in my life? But it just is like a passing thought. I used to really struggle with it. Now it's like a passing thought. I'm like, if I was ever gonna eat pizza, it's gonna have to be some pretty dang good pizza. I'd have to be in Italy or something like that. But I have no desire to eat it because I look at it differently. I look at food differently. And granted, going on a carnivore diet, I think has actually been me far to eat red meat, salt, sleep, repeat, that kind of mentality, because it's simple, sustainable. For me, it's worked great. It might be a little bit too rigid. I don't want to beat myself for no reason. I don't have a lot of gut issues and stuff like that, which is nice. I do have inflammation problems, so dairy is a problem. But those are things you learn. But I'm just saying, I know that it swung this far, but swinging that far gave me the control and the perspective I needed to get angry at the other side of the spectrum, just junk food. And I think over time I'll get some healing. I don't have any problem with pork or bacon. I have no problem with eggs. No problem with dairy. I would limit it because the carbs add up in that, and it's addictive. But it's also good, right? But not all cheese is made the same. Some have additives. I was at work the other day, and one of the ladies that worked there offered me some pork rinds, chicharrones. But I'm like, but they were flavored, the spicy stuff. So I'm like, hold on, let me see that. I was like, I can't eat that. I was like, well, hold on, let me see it. I looked on the back. It was like pork, salt, MSG, dextrose, red number 40, red number this, yellow this, all these ingredients. And I looked at that, I was just like, it made me irritated, because if you wanted some good chicharrones, with some spice. All you would need is chicharrones, salt, some good salt, and like a dried cayenne pepper or something. I'm like, why do we complicate these things? I'm on this kick where I'm upset at these food companies because they're like chemists, you know, cooking drugs in the back of their car to like try to sell to adults and kids. And they have all these different ingredients and like had the MSGs and everything. I'm just like, it does not need that. Your palate is messed up. And it reminds me again, and this is turning into a rant, but it reminds me again, something I saw yesterday is like, what do? I really love my coffee sweet. What do I do? What's my substitute? And I was like, you can have some coffee with some heavy cream. And then I said, no, hold on a second. Never mind. This is what you do. You drink your coffee black for a few weeks. Drink it black. It'll suck. It'll be bitter. It'll be gross. And you'll think, why am I drinking this coffee? This is bitter and gross. But then one day, you'll add that heavy cream in it and it will taste like the nectar from the gods in your coffee cup, because your palate has changed and the way that you taste things has changed. And that's awesome. And we have that ability to do that and to adapt, but it takes time and it takes self-discipline. So all this ranting at this end of this lab video, the carnivore diet has changed my life. I was nearing 300 pounds and I tried to outwork a bad diet, and it caught up with me in my lab work. And my doctor didn't say anything to me about it. They put me on high blood pressure medication. Well, I don't need it anymore because I healed it myself by just eating meat. I didn't get on the diabetic medication because I didn't need to, because I healed my diabetes by just eating meat. Sure, I'm at 5.7. That's technically, by that scale, pre-diabetes, but I'm fine. My body is healing. It's not getting higher. I'm fine, which is awesome. And I didn't need the medication. I did it myself by just eating meat. My energy level has changed so I can work out all the time. This is day 20 of my walking challenge today. 20 days in a row, walking a mile and a half. It's been pretty easy for me because I've been running before that, doing some weight training. Man, this is a new era, and it's all because of the carnivore diet. It's all from eating meat and staying away from the carbs and the sugars and getting power back in my life. And I know there's a lot of people that will watch this video that are working hard on it right now. And I'm gonna tell you right now, save some money. Save some money so you can buy some new pants. Okay? And even if you don't got a lot of weight to lose, save some money to go on vacation to show off that new beach bod with the body recomp. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If I earned your subscription, I hope we get it. If you think this video needs to be shared, make sure you share it. If there's someone in your life that needs to hear about a carnivore diet that is where I was or further or getting there, show them that they can get some power back in their life when it comes to a carnivore diet. A carnivore diet changed my life. And even 17 months, 16 months into this diet, I still wrestle with saying carnivore. It's still weird to me. The meat-based diet, but hey, I got it printed on a shirt, so I guess I'm owning it now. Kilby out.